And she also is running for a seat of the Benue State House of Assembly. Good morning, Elizabeth. Please a round of applause for her. Up next on the stage, we have Sowore. He's a Nigerian politician and the founder of SaharaReporters.com, a website of citizen journalism, supplying videos, photos, news stories, and commentaries that expose official corruption and abuse in Nigeria's government. While in the University of Lagos, he served as the president of the Student Union government between 1992 and 1994. And right now, he's a presidential aspirant for the 2019 presidential election with the motto, Take Back Nigeria. This is not a political rally, so please let's respect other panelists and let's refrain from doing that. Thank you very much. All right, finally, but definitely not least, we have Suleiman Dutse. He is passionate about child rights and development, a professionally trained TV and new media content developer, as well as a legislative aide in the National Assembly. He pledges to introduce productive legislation, engage with constituents, bring constituency interventions, and enhance development and governance in the constituency. So ladies and gentlemen, these are the panelists for our panel, so let's get straight to it. I wanted to do an intro, but I think I want to move straight into the conversation. And I'll have all of them do about 2 minutes each to just talk about holding government accountable. And I think we'll also do a scorecard. Looking back a little bit historically, how effectively do you think Nigerians have been in holding their governments accountable? Toye, let me start with you. And this is government at all levels, not just federal, because the focus tends to always be on the federal, but there's so much happening at the states and local government levels. Toye?
Thank you. First of all, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
First of all, I'd like to thank the organizers and the entire EIE team for inviting me to be here and to speak to everyone here. So straight to your question, I believe that Nigerians, or I would say the citizens, we have a followership issue. And the reason why I say that is when you look at the statistics of people getting involved in the political process and all that is a bit abysmal. So in the last election, with the statistics, you could see that more than 50% of Nigerians, up to 50% of Nigerians did participate in the elections. Now, it's not just at the federal level, it cascades down straight to the local government level. And I believe that because we have not, the followers have not participated and gotten involved, that's why we're where we are today. We have a leadership issue, at the top level, but I believe that in solving our problem as Nigerians, we must solve it from the bottom up. So we, the followers, must begin to demand and participate in ensuring that we hold our leaders accountable, not just hold our leaders accountable, but ensure that they do what they're supposed to do, or they say they're going to do. That way, when somebody comes up and decides to be your leader and you vote for him, because you came out to vote for him, you will be able to ask questions when they go wrong. Now, a lot of times we've been very docile as followers, and we've let it be. So some people have refused to pick up their PVCs because they say that the queue is too long, or they say they cannot stay under the sun and all that. Now the challenge with that is, and I've seen this around them, the challenge with that is you are playing with the next 4 years or 3 years of your life. If you decide not to come out and participate or vote or get your voter's card, you are playing with the next 4 years of your life, because the next 4 years will determine your economic welfare, your social welfare, your fiscal well-being. Now we're seeing that sometimes you can even see government come to tell you to move your house from where it is to another because they just believe that they're government and they have the final say. So if you do not participate, then you have yourself to blame, basically.
All right, thank you. Elizabeth?
Good morning, all. I want to deeply appreciate the organizers for having me here. Okay, let me go straight to the point. I think in Nigeria we do more talking and less action. Now, I'm coming from Benue State. We have a government that is owing salary of up to 10 months. Now, everybody were talking, everybody were angry. Now, campaign have started. They are pushing the money out. And the same people that were talking and shouting are the same people going out campaigning for them. So I wonder, what's happening? Are we not supposed to throw out this government and bring in a new one? What is happening? So I think the citizens, they don't even know their place. They don't know they have so much power to enthrone and to dethrone. So we just sit and talk without action. And when the time for action comes, we do nothing about it. We just, somebody told me whether we vote or we don't vote, they are going to rig. You make the rigging possible for them, so they rig. You vote, you protect your vote, you go to the collection center, make sure the right thing is done as a citizen. So I don't know what is happening. We need more sensitization. We need to go back home and talk to the people. We own the power, not the people in governance. We actually own the power. We can recall any of our representatives back if we so wish through the due process. But I don't know what is happening.
Maybe we'll be able to find an answer to that question. Yale, let me come to you, still just on opening remarks. In terms of the situation here in Nigeria and citizens being able to effectively hold government accountable, have we managed to do so? Are we doing what we need to do to play our own parts in the democratic process?
Thank you. Let me say good morning to everyone here present, and I think we're getting there. We're getting there because,
Thank you. It used to be different. I've worked in the social media sector for the last 12 years, holding government in the executive, legislative, and judicial accountable in Nigeria. Nothing has worked as much as social media in the last 10 years in Nigeria in terms of holding government accountable, because it's beyond their reach. It's accountability beyond borders. And I set up a news website which is well known to everyone here, Sahara Reporters. It became effective because first, we were able to reveal a lot of hidden things about government. And secondly, it was beyond their power to reach us when they would have loved to emasculate us. But I also would say that it has its own downside, to the extent that if you think social media has all the power and you don't do what is necessary next, then governments start to adjust to social media, become numb to the noise from social media. So you must move from revealing everything, holding them accountable on social media, and for you to have the best results, you have to drop your devices and get on your feet. And that is why social media was powerful in Egypt, but until Egyptians dropped their devices, they couldn't have the Arab Spring, which eventually became a liability because it was not micromanaged very well. Same thing with Tunisia. In 2012, in Nigeria, when we had Occupy Nigeria, it was social media that pushed for it. It was social media that was driving it and organized it, and it was social media that delivered the outcome to the rest of the world. And it was a big blow to the ruling class at that time. But they were able to manage it because people relied too much on social media, and when they were supposed to move on that last day that could have led to Nigeria's own equatorial spring, it didn't happen because that number of people who were on Twitter did not come out on the street to help realize what could have been a major seismic change in Nigeria at that time.
So I don't want us to think about over-reliance on social media, but I think it's very powerful. It's giving voice to a lot of people, and it's helped us to push back on governmental abuse.
All right, Suleiman.
Good morning, all. Where I'm from, holding government accountable starts 4 years during campaign period. That's when the masses will say, you are campaigning, let's take what we can get now, because if you're there, we won't see you again. Beyond Twitter posts and online polls, I feel people need to realize that we need to meet them one-on-one. You need to see their convoy moving and you stop them. In the budget, in your constituency project, you said you was going to do this, you are going to do that. What happened? When we start meeting them, as he said, it's beyond the social media rant. It has to be not violently. They have to know that we know you were supposed to do this and you're not doing them. I think that's why young aspirants like us all over the country after the Not Young run, with competence and values, understanding that for so long we have been stranded, we have been taken back for so long. We are going to be accountable. They are not accountable. They will never be accountable. They are not ready to be accountable. We are going to be accountable.
It's interesting that you say we are going to be accountable, because in some instances, many of the older generation of politicians have accused younger Nigerians of eventually becoming like them. And in terms of seeing such a large number of young Nigerians coming out for elected positions, the largest we've ever seen, the question then is, can we truly do anything different? And I think I'll go back to you, Suleiman, because you're the one who made such an emphatic statement, we will be accountable. Do you truly think young Nigerians will be able to do anything different, given the fact that the examples they have in front of them are the examples of this generation we have so many complaints about? Can we be more accountable, be more empathetic, be more on ground, be more engaged with our constituencies than what we've seen in front of us?
You imagine what will happen to Nigeria if they don't steal the money. Imagine how Nigeria will be if everything is moving fine. Now, for example, I have never been out of this country, but I feel if today I travel out as a public officer and I'm seeing all the glittering cities, why wouldn't I want to have it in my hometown, whereby nobody wants to go out of it? So it's about mindset. It's not about the age or them saying we can't do it. It's about the information we're getting now. They were not having social media during their days. They were not exposed to a lot of pictures coming out from different places. We have role models that are superstars, they are footballers. We have a lot of things we wish we want to do, we want to have. So we can have them here at home. We have the vast land, we have everything it takes to make the country of our dream. So it's about what we want, it's not about what they want.
Elizabeth, when Tony was doing his opening, he mentioned the followership and leadership issue that Nigeria has. We have issues with leaders and we have issues with followers. And you were asking the question, you don't know what's wrong with us. Using the example of Benue State, there's been a massive security situation in Benue State for almost the past 2 to 3 years now. We've talked about salaries being on hold for how many months and then now being piecemealed out to people as elections come up. Why do you think we as Nigerians seem to find it so difficult to organize ourselves and put our foot down with these individuals who treat us like this, looking at the followership problem? Why is that so difficult for us to come forward and take a stand against the people who treat us like this?
Like I said earlier, we the citizens, we don't know much power we have. Now, we have decided we are the leaders. So we just sit back and they lead us. You know, if we can just come to terms with ourselves that we have the power to select our leader, keep them or remove them, I think their excesses will be cut down. You know, there's this thing they do in my place. They call it droning. You know, they'll say, "Is this people's turn?" So they bring up somebody, whether you are doing the right thing or not, they say, okay, allow him to complete his term so that another goal can come up. Then there is this issue of followership, as he said. You know, they just believe strongly whether the person is doing the right thing or not. They just believe the person is the right person. You know, and it has, you know, done a lot of harm than good to us. Now, I'm always saying Benue State because that is the place I am coming from. Okay, the same person that was in another party, and something happened, he spoke to the other party, he became a Sen automatically because the other party has large followers. So they went to social media trying to like paint the governor white as a what he did, that it wasn't him, that it was the party. It's a party A B. The party is not a B. The governor is a human being perpetrating those things. The moment he joined ship with the other party, he became a saint. And now everybody is clamoring for him.
What is your problem?
You know, so I want us, the citizens, to know that we are actually the people that hold the power. We are the ones that, we were the ones that enthroned him, and we can actually dethrone them. Now, if they are not performing, we are supposed to tell them, this was here before you came, you promised this, but we are not seeing anything. But if you as an individual want to voice out, you'll be scared because a lot of people are there to antagonize and sometimes they want to hurt you. So you just, as a person, you just keep silent as you watch. So that has been a lot in Benue State.
Okay. Gelen, let me come back to you. You have a history of student activism from your time at UNILAG. And while there are many criticisms of activism and activists in recent times, as well as some of the organizations in universities, do you think there are any lessons that ordinary citizens can take away from the kind of involvement and engagement that you had during your time as SUG president?
Yeah, absolutely. I think if there was anywhere in the world a knack for sharing information, it came as an SUG president at the University of Lagos, because every Wednesday we had to explain to the students what's going on campus, within campus and outside campus. So we created a very conscious and well-educated student populace that were willing and ready to fight whenever it was necessary. So, and we already had a defined enemy outside the gate, which was the military. In fact, when I was at the University of Lagos, a tank was permanently stationed in front of the gate of the university until I graduated. So it was easy to mobilize students around the enemies. But this time around, I think, for me, everything we learned as student leaders is what made it possible for me to operate, for example, a media company that became very successful. Because I had already come with that activist mindset that information is not only power, information has become life. And we're in an information age, but that knack for using information as a powerful tool to fight against oppression was something I developed on campus. So when the internet came my way, I didn't have any doubt in my mind as to how best to use it to confront our leaders in Nigeria from far away, New York, where I was based for a long time. So sadly, we don't have student union leaders like that anymore. I mean, we have student union leaders who are hawking around awards for criminals in the country today. So I don't think there's anything to learn from the present crop of student leaders that we have, who are appendages of either school authorities or governors of their states, or who are running around trying to be richer than their oppressors. And the problem, nothing can be worse than, an oppressed person who is jealous of his oppressor. So
with social media, honestly speaking, where I'm from Bauchi State. I don't campaign on Facebook. I don't have a Facebook page for my campaign. Politics is local. My people They don't care about what you say on Twitter. They don't care about the post you put on Facebook. It's what he hears in the Shayi streets or Suya or in the market or in the gathering that concerns his opinion or shape the decision he makes. I might divert a little. We were talking about the National Assembly. Majority of Nigerians don't really, if I'm to ask now, who is your senator, who is your House of Reps member, they don't know. So how will you even know what he's supposed to do? Legislation is beyond just being an honorable member or a senator. We need to understand that apart from the normal plenary where they debate over motions and bills, we have oversight where they meet MDAs, ministries, they talk about other stuff. We have a constituency project which directly concerns you as the member of that constituency or community he's representing. Now, to hold them accountable, that's what we're talking about, right? To hold them accountable, I feel Nigerians need to, you need to first know who is representing you. I'm from Bauchi State. My senator is Lawal Yaya Kumau. He is the current senator that once said if he is in power, they will make a legislation that will make the president stay in office forever. If you guys can remember, it was trending. That was my senator. Now, I'm lucky to work in the National Assembly as a legislative aide. I understood how legislation is done, which was part of what prompted me to come out and vie for office. Not because I want to have cars like Dino, but I realized these people are no different from any one of us. They are just there. Now, another thing again to understand is that saying we should digitalize the National Assembly, Asara reporters have been doing a lot so far, attacking the institution as a whole, budget trackers and all. You see, Nigerians need to understand one thing. If you say a senator should have an email address, he doesn't read it. There's an aide that received the emails, he decides which email goes. All a senator can care to do maybe is when a petition is brought from somebody in his constituency that says, I work with the Nigerian police, I was sacked inappropriately without my permission or stuff. That's when he comes to the Senate, lay a petition and said, one of the members of my constituency has done this or has done that. Or when he goes for constituency project to distribute keke napep or to distribute tailoring machines, that is where Nigerians feel we are engaging them. So I call on, should I say, people concerned, civil society organizations that are pushing that these people should have functioning email address. I think more concern should be on their legislative aid. I was once there. They are the ones that read those emails. They are the ones that reply. He said it. He said, for example, I think who will tweet the video is, he was not the one that tweeted it. No, that's a fact. So we can't have those BScs. We can't go to school for nothing. I feel the Nigerian youth are still need to understand that the difference between us and them, I like to use that word, is that we are more enlightened. We are more exposed. So holding government accountable starts with an individual. In Game of Thrones, the movie, someone said, knowledge is power. The other lady said, power is power. Seize him, cut his neck. He has all the knowledge, but she has the power. So we have that power too, to actually always disturb them till they realize that we know what we want and they bring it down to us.
Thank you. We'll come into questions just shortly, but Toye, I'll throw this question to you. We seem to talk of almost two Nigerias, a very valid point that Suleiman made, that in his constituency, who is on Facebook, who's doing the social media influencing, and that discordant conversation at times, we tend to forget that there are millions of Nigerians who are illiterate, for lack of a better word, who live in the rural areas, who are not on social media, who may not get these messages of all the campaigns and the advocacies that we do on social media, and who do listen to the mishais and who listen to the gossip and all the neighborhood things. How do we bridge that gap? because there is something to be gained from social media, but we cannot completely ignore those who are not on social media, who are many more than the people who are even on social media, and still push the message of holding governments accountable to them. How do we bridge that gap when it looks like we're talking to two different Nigerians and we need to speak two different types of languages?
Okay, thank you. I mean, this in terms of reaching out to individuals who are at the, at the very low cadre. Now, you can as well do some form of advocacy. You can as well do some form of, town hall meetings and all that. Because truly, when we look at the voting patterns, 51% of these individuals are students. Now, this 51%, I can assure you, are on social media. Now, reaching out to them is a good thing. It's a fantastic idea. However, my challenge with those 51% is their inability to do more critical thinking, more deep thinking on the country that they live in. So it's not just like, Sowore said again, it's not just to be literate, it's about educating yourself and, asking yourself what really matters to you. Then secondly, going back to those people who really don't have access to social media, we can reach them through the town hall meetings and have advocacy meetings with, like me, for instance. I've been going around, I have 12 wards I must visit. And in the 12 wards, I've had town hall meetings with them, trying to, make them understand some of the challenges that, they are facing and all that. I also realized that, Abuja, the so-called big Abuja that everybody knows, is run by small businesses. That is what runs the economy of Abuja. So it's the market woman, it's the man who owns a shop, it's the man who owns a plaza, who's selling clothes and all that. It's the guy who is selling his shai and tea and all those things. Those are the people that run the economy of Abuja. Now, those people, however, do not know or do not realize that every day the government, as it is now, not federal government, the municipal government, every day is harassing them out of their businesses. Now, these same guys, when you go and meet them and say, look, do you know this thing? You shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. They don't know. So the only way leaders, like the new crop of leaders, can do is to reach out to them and talk with them. How many, like you said, how many of us know who our senators are? How many of us know who our House of Rep candidates or House of Rep members are? How many of us know who the chairman is? In Abuja, we found out that 90% of the people we spoke to did not know who the chairman of the municipal area council is. We went out and we asked questions. Who is this guy? They don't know. They just know the office, but they don't know the individual.
So how do they vote? How do they associate an individual or candidate or a party?
I will throw some numbers for you. Now, in the last election, the municipal area council had a total vote of about less than 100,000 votes out of a voter population of about 920,000. Now, it's a big challenge. Now, these guys are the ones that take, the municipal takes care of, your immediate environment, sanitation, water, roads, markets, parks, and all that. They take, tenement rates and all those things. Now, the reason why is, and I'll also say this, Abuja is a cosmopolitan city, yet underdeveloped. So you have a lot of big houses, you have a lot of massive roads and all that. But yet, the individuals who live in the Abuja, a lot of them are underdeveloped. So when reaching out to those people and say, oh, look, you have to do something, like, oh, I didn't know. Oh, I would like to know. So what my candidacy has done is to shed a lot of light on the municipality. And so I will also speak to young people that, look, we need to go back to the grassroots and reach out to them. Some of them don't know, actually. So it's good we're on social media. It's good that, you know, we speak on social media, but at the same time, we need to take the message down to them. That's my thinking. And, you know, it's a two-way. So you're building on social media, you're also building at the grassroots level. Yeah.
All right, Elizabeth, my final question to the panel before we go to questions. So we've talked about the social media angle, we've talked about recall, lack of, but then another part of holding government accountable is citizens feeling invested in the democratic process. And I know many people, even here, are apathetic to the democratic process in Nigeria. We don't feel like we're getting the dividends of democracy. We don't feel like our voices are being heard. We don't feel like the issues that are necessary are being taken care of. So when you have someone who's apathetic, there's definitely going to be a reluctance to even get involved. How do we talk to those who are apathetic and get them to stand up and get involved in the process to also becoming somebody who holds government accountable?
Thank you. I always speak of my constituency. I was telling His Excellency earlier on, you know, I am coming from a very disadvantaged place. You can't get them on radio. They don't have televisions. Few of them at the local government headquarters have television. There's no light, no electricity, no network. How do you get to these people? I went for campaign in a place. We went to some extent with a car, then we picked a bike, then the rest of the way we had to trek. There was no road. But I was determined to get to them at the grassroots. I wanted to do it myself. I wanted to feel what they were feeling. I want to see how they live. So when we got there, they came out and saw us. They were initially reluctant, but at a point they began to come out in mass. They came plenty. Then the head of the clan told us that 2019, they have decided they were not going to vote for anybody. But seeing that I was new and I was young, they felt I have something different, and that is why they are out. That I should please keep my promise. So now, the thing we need to do is to go get them from the grassroots and sensitize them, because they can hardly be reached. So to bring them out, you know, you get to some places, there are no schools. The children, they wake up in the morning, they go to the farm, they come back, they eat and sleep. And that is what they do till they grow, mature, get married, and their children continue. So with these few months, I've had a lot of experience. I've met people and I've gone to places. Now, it is easy for Tonya to say that most of the youth are on social media. But for me, it's a different ball game altogether. The people from my constituency that stays in the metropolitan, their PVC is for that place, not from the village. So they vote where they live. So the people that are going to vote for me are mostly illiterate. So they don't have access to what you have access to. So you need to talk to them. Now, we have to make a logo, a specimen, a dummy of the, the dummy of the, what is it called? Ballot paper, sorry. To show them, educate them on how to vote. They don't know. If you don't take your time to educate them, they make the papers invalid, because they can go and vote in between or vote on two spaces like that.
Okay, I'll stop you right here. I didn't know the time signal I got was very short. Let's start with just 3 very quick. We are not doing contributions. I'm asking solely for questions, and I'm very specific. Your name and straight to the question, or I will move on. Nigerians and microphones is like this. We have a lot here. So please, let's respect the panelists and let's respect others here. 3 questions, your name and your question, please straight to the point. The young lady here, the young lady back there. Can I, gentlemen? Okay, the gentleman in front here.
Good morning. My name is Samia. I'm a student. So I just wanted to ask that when it comes to the voting situation, what is any body doing about making it a more conducive situation? Because I have my PVC and I know what I suffer to get that PVC, and then to collect it, and then when you want to the actual voting day to go come the queue. For me to collect my PVC, I have to wake up at 6 o'clock 3 times, and I still met the queue. And they just told me, they had to tell me, if you are serious about this thing, wake up as early and get here as early as 4 o'clock. And it's not safe. I can't be at that place by 4. That is how difficult it is. So I just want to know, like, what are they doing? Because it's not really about telling us to vote, it's about making this thing. I know you guys, we have to also contribute, but we actually have to be safe. And we have to feel like, you know, it's bad enough that you are trying and it's almost like it's not counting, and then the stress is, yeah.
Thank you. Let's take the questions together so we can quickly answer.
Good morning. My name is Abdul Samad. And my question is, you look at the justice system and the rule of law of Nigeria.
Are they directed to anyone? Just general?
General. So, if you look at the justice system and the rule of law of Nigeria, and we talk about holding government accountable, I feel like, don't you think that it has been an impediment to helping us realize an accountable government? Look at what happened with the CJN recently. Do you think that the justice system and the rule of law has been an impediment to realizing an accountable government?
All right, thank you. And the lady behind us.
Good morning, Vanessa Osai. My question is, we know that over 51% of registered voters are youths, and of which majority are students. Currently, we know there's an ASU strike, and as of this morning, I read on the news that we have about 22 million registered voters who are at home. And majority of these people actually registered at, that is in their schools, or places closer to their school. Now, don't you think this already has disrupted we holding government accountable?
Alright, so let's start with the very first question. I'll just have one of the panelists answer that. And she asked about how to make the voting process more conducive. What is being done? I don't know if anybody can speak in terms of what INEC is doing in that regard, but if you have any information, please share that. Tonya?
Okay. Let me say something, yeah? Where we are right now as a country, where you know, pardon my language, but we're in a big mess. Now, we need to do everything humanly possible to get ourselves out of that mess. I'd like to congratulate you for actually waking up in the morning and going out that early 3 times to get your PVC. It shows that you care for Nigeria and you want to make a difference. So I will congratulate you for that. However, the policy of government or the way these things are being run, a lot of times, like I said, it's because we have leaders who don't care about the people that they're serving. So, because we want to change that, we need to beat them at their game. They are trying to make it impossible or almost impossible for people to do this thing. So in other words, we also need to tell them that we care so much. So we'll wake up, even if it's 4 a.m., to get to where we need to go to and ensure that we collect our PVCs. If we need to stay there till 1 a.m., we will do that. We will make arrangements. So some of the things I've been telling my guys is, look, on that day, start getting water ready, start getting food ready. If you need to pack food, if you need to pack water, if you need to wear comfortable shoes, you need to do that, because they will do everything humanly possible to rig the elections. So you need to do everything humanly possible to make it impossible for them to rig the elections.
You know, you can't do same thing and expect different result, right? Maybe you have been voting a similar party or a similar kind of people. So imagine where you have to do your voters registration online after 2019, where you don't have to, you have the data connection. If we can vote Big Brother Niger online in millions, we can do that. They are doing everything possible, as he said, to make sure they frustrate you. They once said we are lazy. We are not lazy, right? You have gone there. So
it's about you now voting with a different mindset. I believe the Not Too Young to Run has given chance for emerging new leaders. I call them digital leaders. So you have the chance now, with that your voter's card, to change how things have been done. Try it this time around. Talk to your friends about it. Just try and vote new people, and you get new ideas.
I also wanted to know that this should be the last time you have to suffer like this if you vote the right person. And you have alternatives out there, and of which I'm one of them. If I'm your president, when I'm your president,
We are not.
no, don't worry. I'm a presidential candidate. Don't worry. You will never have to suffer to get a PVC, because your PVC will be digital in 4 years. And we should be able to vote online, both in Nigeria and people in the diaspora. But if you vote these same analog leaders back, you suffer again in another 4 years.
So the next question that was asked was about justice and the rule of law, the justice system, in terms of being an impediment to holding our leaders accountable. He referenced the current case of the CJN Justice Walter Onogan going on right now, and I'm very sure there are many cases, if we sit here in 5 minutes, that we can pick that sort of make it look like whoever is in power is using the judiciary as a tool that is not actually making it easy for individuals to hold government accountable. And I think eventually he did direct it to you, Yeli, so please go ahead and answer.
So what you have in the Nigerian judicial system is not justice, it's just us. It's only meant for a few people. The judges, there's something they say in Nigeria, that you have to hire 2 lawyers. The one that knows the law and the one that knows the judge. It's the one that knows the judge that can win you the case. The one that knows the law is the one that will make the noise. There is no justice system in Nigeria, that's the truth. Justice have gone up for sale. I will say it again, I was the first person to issue a red flag on Sowore reporters about the Chief Justice of Nigeria when they found millions of dollars in his account. The EFCC issued a statement that is not true, that we lied. When it was convenient for them to go after Onohe, they suddenly found the documents because they're in possession of it. But they need compromised judges to handle the election petition tribunals that will be coming, because that's the biggest market in the judiciary. The moment you're an election tribunal judge, you are going to make your billions from the cases that are coming up. That's what you're saying. But it's up to Nigerians, and I'll say this again, this is an opportunity in a few days to get rid of the old brigade and put in place a justice system. It's not only the judicial justice system, it's a social justice system that will guarantee you a breathing space in this country called Nigeria has been strangulating you.
The other question was about students voting. Like she said, many students have registered around their schools, close to their schools, but ASU is currently on strike. And it's very likely that that strike will not be called off before before we go to the election. So what do we do? I think the bigger question at the end of the day is, what do students do? Some people, as adults, have said, wherever you voted Thursday, travel there. I don't know how convenient it would be for many students to go back to the cities that host their schools in order to vote. But anyone who wants it, we can take a look at that. Tonya?
I'll still speak to realizing that we're in deep trouble. You know, we are, and I'll tell you why. I mean, just talking about the justice system, I was just reading, you know, on my way to Lagos yesterday, that there's a present a lawyer who was paid about 1.4 billion naira for court case or something. And I'm asking myself, you know, how does that work? You know, how do we get to this point where somebody will say he was paid 1.4 billion to do what? You know, of course it is to bribe people and to bribe the judicial system, but somebody is trying to use the law to suit himself, and Nigerians are keeping quiet. When he said Sahara reporters decided to blow out the Chief Justice of Nigeria case, this came out and said it was, you know, it was not true. All of a sudden, There's a report that they also leaked and said that that he has the money he has in his accounts are proceeds of crime, or of bribery and corruption or illicit funds. We need to realize where we are as a people. Then once we realize it, then if you know you have I know students who are on their way to their various schools presently as I'm talking to you, just to ensure that they partake in the election. That is how serious some of them are taking it. Now, for the mere fact that some people have refused to do it does not mean that others are not doing it. So we need to focus more. My mentor said to me one time that it is not as if we don't have good Nigerians or good leaders, but the media and we, the followers, have focused more on the individuals who are not doing it, that we've forgotten that there are people actually getting these things done. So we need to tell these students who have decided that they are the biggest or the large chunk of people who have collected their voters together, look, it is time for you to sacrifice. If you do not sacrifice for Nigeria, then you cannot blame anybody. You can't point fingers. That is the truth. So INEC, like I said, has done something that will frustrate people. The federal government has also worked with INEC to do that. But we need to beat them at their game and actually go and actually vote. That's my take on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Apologies, I know we want to take more questions, but time is not with us. I just want to remind all of us of just a few things before we leave. There are 84 million plus registered voters, and I hope that the majority of you in this room are registered and have your PVCs. There are almost 12,000 polling units, 91 registered political parties, and the elections are less than 10 days away. Obi Ezekwesili talks about the 20-year cycle. If you're a student of political history and you look at other countries, you do see that there is an opportunity to develop and change. Nigeria is on the cusp of another 20-year cycle. The choice is yours, really.
And also, there is a new generation of Nigerians that are going to turn 20. We call them children of democracy. They are the secrets to defeating the vote brigade. The thing that happened with ASU was planned by the federal government. They knew already that there are 22 million voters who are students. They had to keep you out of your school so that you don't vote, because they know that these are the most angry Nigerians and you're about to punish them with your votes. But regardless of what they've done to you, please find your way to your voting polling booths and units and vote these guys out. They are the people who brought ASU strikes into this country. Vote them out. Vote out Atiku, vote out Buhari.
And one final thing I do want to make a point. Let's not all think that voting is the last responsibility we have as citizens. Voting is the easiest and the lowest hanging fruit in a democracy. If you're going to hold government accountable, either you voted for the person who wins or you didn't vote for the person who wins, you need to be involved after the elections. Democracy does not end when a winner is declared. So please, after the elections, be engaged, look up to EIE. Budget is doing a fantastic job. Tracker NG, shine your eye, let you know who your representatives are. Please go on these platforms. Citizen Gavel, they're all on social media. They're all young people oriented. You have the tools at your disposal. Please, let's use them. Thank you very much.
Are you taking afters too?
No, just me.
Okay, just me.
Thank you. Thank you very much. No worry, no worry, no worry.
Let's take it back.
Well, just give it to him first.
Thank you.
Yes.
Sorry.
Take his picture as well.
Alright, so we can go somewhere else and we can
How cool is it?
I'm taking it back this year.
We're taking it back.
We don't
man.
book it. Please. Then you tell them, take it back. Tell them, we're taking it back.
Taking it back.
Taking it back this year.
Take
You
it back.
understand?
Take your
Thank
country
you
back.
very much. Thank you.
It's possible. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much.
Alright, please, sorry, please.
Yes.